All right, welcome back everybody to another new episode of A Whole New World, where we're here to put a spotlight on positive things happening in the community and developing that positive mindset. So, as of course, I am your host, Jacob New, and it is time for the favorite part of the week, favorite part of the episode probably for a lot of people, the dad joke of the week. Yeah! And so here it is. What did the swordfish say to the marlin? Hey, looking sharp. Get it? Because they have sharp noses. Oh, silence. That's okay. Cricket, cricket. We are very lucky and fortunate to have Lori Beard, life coach and clinical hypnosis practitioner, on the show again with us. So thank you for being on the show, Lori.
Thank you for having me again, Jacob. And now that's my turn to talk. That was funny.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So last time we were here, we were talking about kind of like the hypnosis therapy. And I actually came to see you, and we did a hypnosis session. And before I get into us, I want to talk a little bit about the subconscious mind and how powerful that is. So, can you give us a little glimpse into the subconscious mind?
Yes, and congratulations, because you summoned the courage to come and see. Because I know, and we can talk about this later, you were a little bit skeptic.
Yeah.
So, this was great. I was so proud of you. Subconscious mind, right now you're breathing, we're blinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our hearts are pumping. So that is because the subconscious mind is doing its job, right? We don't need to think about that because the body does it automatically. But our subconscious mind can be a little bit alert, right? And then it can also be unconscious. And the word unconscious kind of worries some people, but literally when we're asleep, we're unconscious. We're not. Our subconscious mind is a more active role, and then our conscious mind is more like
in the background,
sleeping
kind of thing. Yeah.
Dormant. So I think I explained this in the last time you had me here as a guest, which is awesome. I'm back.
Yeah.
Thank you again and again. So when we're driving somewhere and we don't even realize, how many red lights, we got, or we're already here, and we don't realize how many red lights, how many people, unless somebody gets us really mad, right?
Yeah.
While we were driving. So our subconscious mind is doing the work, driving, while our conscious mind is thinking of other things, our to-do list, grocery list, or things to do in the day. So
And that's it's kind of scary in a way, because I think of like all the times that like I've driven, and I'm like, I get to my destination, I'm like, I know I wasn't asleep, but I don't remember the drive.
Right.
Like, so crazy but it's usually like going to and from work, because I make that drive all the time, and so to kind of prevent that, I've kind of started taking different routes.
Oh, okay.
Trying to mix it up.
Since you've been learning about this subconscious mind?
Yeah.
That's too funny. That's a good way. That's a good way. And that's what happens with habits, behaviors, people with addictions. And when they want change, we go through some steps about the person making conscious changes. If somebody smokes with the left hand a lot, I challenge them to, change that to your right hand instead. Conscious changes to retrain that subconscious mind.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's almost just like another muscle. It's another, like, I can't think of what it's called, but like you do it over and over. It's been so repetitive, it's ingrained almost in you.
Right. And if you're a couch potato, for example, you need to start, and you want to lose weight, you need to become more physical.
Yeah.
So it's, instead of physical fitness, it's mind fitness.
Okay, I like it.
I just call it like that.
I was gonna say, instead of a couch potato, I need a big couch salad. That'd be,
Okay, that's better. And instead of a
hold the dressing.
Instead of a mind potato,
yeah.
What are you gonna be then?
I'm gonna be a mind salad. That's a mixture. There's so many different kinds of salads. I don't know.
Okay, whatever.
I don't know.
It's healthier. Definitely healthier.
No. But whether I'm a mind salad or a couch salad, I guess it really doesn't matter. But like you said, I did summon up the courage to come see you, and I honestly, like, we were talking. I was skeptical. I was very skeptical about that. Coming.
Tell me about that. Describe, and because there's skeptics, out there, I bet.
Oh,
so
yeah, and like I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, this really isn't gonna work, or like. I'm also like sitting here thinking, I'm like, am I gonna come out of here like balking like a chicken, like in certain words or something? Like, what's gonna happen? Like,
admit it, you enjoyed that part the most.
Oh, I did. I was hoping. I haven't laid an egg yet, so fingers crossed. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't know why I'd fingers crossed that, but but no. So I just had all these doubts, and I'd been to. A stand-up comedian who did like a hypnosis as part of his act, and I wasn't hypnotized, so I'm like, this really isn't going to work, whatever, and and so I'll give it a try.
Or you were not?
I was not. I was not, and so
by choice.
Well, he was doing like the whole group.
Okay.
And so, it was like I said, I was just very skeptical about it when I was sitting there and just even walking in the door.
So can I mention movies?
Yeah, please bring up movies.
Last time you were so excited about Star Wars. So
yeah.
So Now You See Me.
Uh-huh.
It's the movie that I have seen.
Yes,
most recent,
I love that movie.
And there's that hypnotist
with
there.
the magicians.
Yeah, and the magicians. So that's not the school of hypnosis I come from. So this guy is just like 1, 2, 3, and sleep, and super fast and things like that. I come from a school it's more self-guided, and I am here as a guide, right? And I will guide you through this experience, but it's not rapid, it's not fast. I don't touch anybody, I don't tap anybody. So it's from the school of every hypnosis is self-hypnosis. So with my help, you're gonna do the work.
Okay.
So that is the difference between maybe what you saw, that's for entertainment, and then also even the people that balk like a chicken, it's because they want it.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm willing to do this, I'm open for this, and they do it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you remember, I said, nothing that I would say, if you go against that, it goes against your moral values, it goes against, what you believe in or what you are willing to do or not to do, you're not going to do it because I'm not in control of you.
Yeah.
So.
And so the way it worked for those listeners out there, I went in, Lori and I, we talked about different parts of my life, different issues I thought I was having that I wanted to resolve. And so we, I actually can't remember like the actual like things that we talked about, but I'll get. So what was one of them?
One of them, it was just more of the content. It's just the context of things that kind of triggered you.
Oh yeah.
Being things that trigger you, and like because you, I guess, want to control. I would have more
kind
control
of not. I wanted more control. I was not giving up the control that kind of an issue.
Yes.
And then just me wanting to be able to reach my goals, I believe, was one of the things as well. Too now that jogged my memory. So glad you were here.
Yeah, I'm glad I remember too.
So we were sitting there. And we had our conversation, and then you told me I'm going to choose a scenario now, right? Mm-hmm. And so you gave me several different scenarios, and I do remember. I was like, let's do the mountain one because I like the mountain and the waterfall scenario, and I was like, waterfall's too easy. So I learned about myself, I like to pick the hard way. Cool. So there's another thing. I just like the challenge of things. So I lay down, and it's a script for like those of you listening out there. So she's reading from a script, and it's depicting the scenery. And so I've closed my eyes. We have calming music. I chose the music. And so which happened to be a babbling brook. So for those of you curious out there, that's you want to help me get into my Zen state? Play a babbling brook, And so she starts reading. I close my eyes, and I'm picturing this. And so as she's reading, I'm climbing up the mountain, and I have a backpack on, and she's going through the steps, and she's like, okay, now take something out of the backpack and throw it into the fire. I didn't throw it into the fire because when I was doing mine, and I'm going to be very personal here, is I'm trying to get closer to my faith, my religion. So and during this time, I'm walking the whole time up with Jesus. Jesus is there. He's my homie. We chilling,
That's awesome.
And so instead of me throwing it into the fire, I visualized myself giving it to Jesus. And so I handed it to him, and I made it to the top of the mountain, and then I believe we came back down, and that's when it ended.
Yeah.
And so during our debriefing of that, all Lori did was she was asking me questions, and I was just honest and candid with her as I was. I'm being with y'all right now, and she asked me, "What did you hand Jesus?" And I said, "Self-doubt." No hesitation, no nothing. But what was crazy, y'all, is that we never talked about self-doubt. I never brought it up. It wasn't anything in there. And just like saying it, I just felt this kind of like relief coming up, and it was amazing. And so my life since then, even when I find myself starting to doubt, I go back and I revisit that scene where I take it out of the backpack and I'm handing it away, and it's been great.
I love it. I love it. I love this little recap and summary, and many things I would like to revisit or explain for those because you're going on your mode, and I wonder how much people are capturing or getting or understanding. So what I do is, Jacob did a great job explaining as the participant in the session, right? But what I like to do is explain this, right? And he had an idea of what we were going to do as step by step, I hope.
Yeah.
It felt like I was explaining things step by step. So what happens is that we had this little conversation, and the life coaching in me does that, because I need to understand where the person is, meet them where they're at, and to understand their goals and intention for the session, and then I help them move them forward. But then the hypnosis practitioner in me helps dig a little bit into the past, and the way I explain it is when we have popped a pizza or something into the oven, and we didn't read the packaging well, we kind of dig it out of the trash to kind of get information for a good outcome, or a better outcome.
It's a good analogy. I've done that before several times.
So you toss it, you're excited, you toss it, and then you're like, wait a minute, I need the instructions, or I need to revisit this or look at this better. So that's how and why I go a little bit into the past, and that to me is the difference between talking therapy or traditional therapy, and it's okay, it's needed, and it's necessary at some point for some people, and it fills its purpose. But what I love about what I do, is that the person articulates to the best of their ability what is the matter, according to an experience, a point of reference, a memory, all that. And then when we establish the intention and the goals, I have binders of scripts, and some hypnotherapists or hypnosis practitioners out there don't like scripts. But if you're familiar with Calm or Headspace, it's stories they're telling you. Yeah. Are you familiar with any of those apps? Headspace or Calm?
I am not.
No. Maybe people out there do, or if you're not aware, if you want to get into your meditation and subconscious mind and all that and reprogram yourself, that's a great place to start.
Okay. And
with a lot of people it works and it does wonders. The difference between those and me is that mine are customized, because even though there are scripts that are already written and prepared, it's very customizable because it totally applies, and I insert specific things from our conversation. Yeah. So but very good, and he was so humble and open to receive, even though when he was skeptical, I wasn't very aware that he was skeptical at the moment.
I hit it.
He did it very well. And I appreciate your trust or your willingness to wanting to check it out. So that is what I do, and that's what I love. And because we have established those intentions and goals, I usually like to ask, like in the hospital when you get to the emergency room and you have pain, and they want to ask you between 1 and 10, you know, how much is your pain? I think I ask you, or if not, I was supposed to ask you, but I like to know the difference before session and after the session.
We did not talk about that.
We did not talk about that. So, yeah, we can still decide, like, before, as you walked in, how was your level of self-doubt, since that's what you discovered? And then after you walked out, you know, it can creep in again and again, right?
Yeah.
Because if you have been living like this for the last years, you know, that's why it's so important to revisit.
To have the follow-up and
reinforce.
Man, I would say, like, 10 being, like, high self-doubt. I'd probably say I was at, like, a 7.
Love it.
Or an 8, somewhere around there. Maybe a 7.5. I don't know. We'll go 7. And then afterwards, I was at a 3. Yeah.
See, and that makes me so happy, and it's just, I just love to see the difference, and that's why it's so important, before or after. Sometimes I forget to ask, and then when I realize, I'm like, hey, you know, how would you compare? How would you say you did, you know, or how are you feeling now and compared to when you came in? So it's very important.
But it's like I said, it's crazy because, like, I didn't quite realize that that's what it was until, like, I said it out loud, and it happened so fast when you asked me, well, what was it? And it just came like that, and then it's just like, whew, it's gone. Like, the subconscious me was like, get this out.
Awesome. So he was ready, and that's the important thing. And so he got personal, and he shared his spiritual journey, right? And he shared that Jesus was there with him. I didn't do any of that.
No, that was me.
Because at some point, it's just fascinating, because at some point I helped him get into that relaxing state and deep state of relaxation. And then I said, hey, and now you are, because he chose that one, you are in this place and all that, and you can choose whether you can have a guide with you can have animals going with you, follow along with you, or you can do whatever you want. And he was the one that recreated that in the screen of his imagination.
I should have done a talking bear.
Maybe. This is better, but okay. I'm glad you came out.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Where am I, Narnia? No, I'm sorry. No, but it was such a cool experience, and like you said, I was the one that I visualized that, because that's a goal of mine. I'm trying to get closer in my faith. That's so not everybody's going to see what I saw. Everybody's going to have different experiences, and it depends upon your level of commitment. And even though I was skeptical, I'm the type of person, though, too, I'm not going to throw something off or to the side until I've given it a good try. Not just well, you know, I tried. No, I'm like, I'm going to go all in, and I want to try it out. And so, like, I'll even try food and not even know what it is.
That's like, so good, in a way.
And then I'll ask what it was. But, yeah.
So I just thought of something, Jacob.
Yes. Yeah.
If you were skeptical about that, I wonder how would you react if I tell you something? If I tell you something else that I do.
Dígame. Tell me. Yeah. I'm bilanguage.
So, you know people that kind of read palms? Because you know, palms. And then also traditional Chinese medicine also reads, like, facial...
Oh, no, I did not
like
know that they read the face.
Wrinkles or scars or things.
That'd be weird. I picture somebody just touching my face. I'm like,
Actually, that one is by looking.
Okay,
by
I was like...
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I read toes.
You read toes? For real?
For real.
That's like, what can you learn from toes?
We will go there for another whole
Okay,
discussion,
all right.
But now,
I'm intrigued.
Toe reading is based on Japanese instead of Chinese.
Okay.
And depending on experiences in life.
Yeah.
And how you have been impacted by those experiences, your toes react. They go places. They go left, right.
Huh.
They turn, they swell, they get short, they don't grow as they need to grow, or they, and it's a representation of many things about your life. So I'm a toe reader, not a toe teller. So I'm never going to say, you this, you that, you that. It's like asking questions.
That's interesting.
And I needed to promise that I was not going to look at toes.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine.
Like no. Like to judge anybody unless they ask or they're very interested.
Here I'm like, I should have wore sandals today.
So
no, that's so cool. It's just crazy the amount of information you can get about people just by observing them and just different features, and if you know what to look for, like body language, inflection of voice, and just getting to know people. You can tell so much about people just based on their word choices and so many different aspects. So it's always fascinating to me.
There you go. So there's one more thing that speaks loud about you.
My toes.
Your toes.
My toes speak loud when I go to the pool.
Yes, and beware.
I love it. So
they can change too.
They can.
Once you're aware of an issue, they can change.
For real? Oh, that makes sense though. You change. So, man, you got me like thinking all these different like things with toes. I'm like, now I'm like looking at my fingers too. I'm like, what can you tell about my fingers? No. But one of the other things I do want to talk to you about, you had mentioned to me that you do work with people, professionals, on their money mindset and how I have a feeling that our subconscious has a lot to do with how we interact and deal with money.
Exactly.
What can you enlighten us about the subconscious and money?
Absolutely. I want to say that I offer obligation-free, I should say, right? Obligation-free assessment. So anybody that's listening to this, watching this, please say, hey, I saw you saying this and offering this at the whole New World podcast. Make an appointment, and I would love to.
Do we need to send a sample of our toes or like a picture?
This is an assessment of money.
Okay, got it. Okay. Toes.
And yes, one of your toes literally says and manifests and express your relationship with money.
Oh,
I won't say anymore, but one of your toes, yes. So, yes. It's just fascinating. The same way as we establish we develop behaviors and we show things with our attitude, our behaviors, addictions, or tendencies. Money is a big part of that. You've seen it with people with the addiction of poker, for example, or people addicted to worrying. I'm using the word addiction, but always emphasizing worrying about the lack of money, or even when they have money, they don't want to let it go. All of that comes from formation, from the reptile brain when we were growing up and what we heard about money from our parents,
friends,
figures of authority, friends, and though that thing, that experience, that phrases that cause for you to have XYZ relationship with money, it's ingrained, and then furthermore we manifest that in our way to spend it, not spend it, save it, not save it, or love-hate relationship some people have with money.
Let me get my thoughts together. What I was going to say is that my wife and I, we started Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University because we just got married. We're trying to get our finances straight. And so it's been very enlightening as we've been reading through the book. Like, for example, we talked about budgeting. In the book, it talks about budgeting your money and just having a plan for your money. Budgeting doesn't mean like getting onto somebody for spending too much or something. It's like, I want to spend money here. I want to go to the movies, so I'm going to put money aside so I can go to the movies. And just making sure that you're more intentional about your spending than just willy-nilly, I'm going to throw this everywhere. And but like growing up, I didn't quite realize it, and I had to kind of reread this a couple of times and kind of change my thinking about it, is that because I thought of it as like bound and like shackled to this budget. I have to stick to it, but it's a fluid thing. If I find that I need to move some funds over here from one thing, then okay, that's what I end up doing.
When was it that you were thinking you were shackled to the budget? As you were growing up, or now with your wife?
I think it was more kind of like growing up. Okay. And so when I did a budget, it was just kind of a template. Okay. And so one thing I learned is that my budget will differ depending upon the month. And, you know, one month I might spend more in one category than another. I might go see more movies because, you know, hey, it's June and all the good movies are out, you know.
You need to budget for that
yeah,
now.
Exactly. Or maybe I want to go on a trip, and so I know I need to be saving up money, so I'm going to be putting money towards that. But I've never really thought about it, and so I've never had a plan for my money like that. I mean, my parents did talk to me about setting money aside to save, and so I did know that, and so I'm a little bit better financially because I've taken steps to plan for retirement and other uneventful mishaps, or, you know, but I do think, like, there's not enough money talk going on in homes, too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like they say they teach, you know, calculus and all that, and they don't teach how to balance a checkbook or a bank account, and that's in the school system. It's kind of like a taboo. Like money, oh my goodness, is the root of all evil. It's what people are programmed to. Yeah. Or money, you know, it's something that you need to hush hush, because if we start talking about money, you know, a war is gonna explode and things like that. So it's a mindset. So definitely it's an issue. It's something that needs to be addressed, and I am here to help if you want to be aware of your relationship with money. Yeah, it's a relationship.
No, it is, and it's kind of weird. Like, if you would have said that to me even 4 months ago, I'd been like, what? No, I'm not. No, I don't have a relationship with my money, but I mean, it is. That's exactly what it is.
So why would you have said that?
I mean, I just didn't think of it like a relationship. I just got it, and I just kind of spent it on different. I mean, I'd never thought of it as a relationship kind of a thing. And I've been like, no.
Why is it different now? What are you learning?
I think, well, because like relationship to me, it means that it's a two-way lane. Okay. Or two-way road, whichever. And so, like, but I never thought of money giving me feedback before, whereas money is just a tool, so I'm just spending it here or there. But
gotcha.
And so that's why I would have said no.
Okay. Yeah. So now, is money giving you feedback?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of eye-opening for me to see. Like, we were kind of looking at our past expenses, like, wow, we're spending money on groceries and we're going out. Like, maybe we need to cut down on one or the other. And so Trish and I, we've decided that we're going to have so many nights of fast food, or like a no tipping service. What, you know, like, go out where you don't have to tip. And then, like, we'll have so many nights of actually going out on a date and going to a nice restaurant or something. And so, but it's... yeah, and so we just kind of feel better about our money spending, whereas before it's like, where'd all my money go? And it stresses you out because it's the end of the month, and you're like, I get paid monthly, so I don't have like the bi-weekly, so I have to make it last a whole month. Yes, and so it comes to the end of the month, and I'm riding on $20 right now, like.
Wow. Like, so here's the thing, this is so fascinating, because the question is, awareness is very important, it's very key, and this is how I'm gathering you are getting feedback from money. But do you think that's what money wants for you?
I don't think money cares.
That's good. Do you think that's what Jesus or God or the universe wants for you?
No. Yeah.
Tell me more.
I mean, I can't think of the exact Bible verse, but it's something to do along the lines of having things in abundance. Yeah. And so being able to give freely and having that aspect of wanting to be charitable and giving more and kind of essentially is you're living below your means so that you can give more, and not having to worry about paying off debts, paying off different things. I mean, because I was one of the people who was like, yeah, it's at the end of the month, I need to charge a little bit here. And so that's kind of how I got myself into a little bit of a hole. And I think some listeners out there can be like, oh, yeah, that. Yeah. But I would think, did I answer the question? I've already forgot.
Yeah, so from a place of abundance, right? So we need to learn how to willingly give and openly receive, right? Receive openly and willingly give. And abundance is a very important word. And like, again, there's seminars and sessions and whole weekends that go talking about just this. And that's why I'm saying, like, this is very good. A big step you're doing, becoming aware where the money is going and coming from, and where to allocate it.
Yeah.
But it's way beyond that. It's beyond that because that relationship with money is like, maybe you didn't know somebody existed, and now you're like, oh, that's right. Maybe you're a teacher, maybe a student that's super quiet.
Yeah.
You know, the person doesn't make a lot of noise, but then you're like, oh, I need to be more aware that this person's there. I need to allow for her to be more, or him to participate more. But it's more than that. It's like, now that you're aware that student exists, it's like establishing this relationship, knowing that it doesn't matter that the person's shy, you're going to hone into helping the person become their best and shine. So think of it that way with abundance, and thinking that, and it's not specifically about you, it's just people in general. People in general then have that sense of awareness, and then they come from a place of lack.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, that's why we need to tighten up, and that's very responsible and very good to do, obviously. But then...
but you don't want to do it too much, though.
Too much, or for the rest of your lives.
Yeah.
And that's where planning comes in. Congratulations. I mean, Dave Ramsey's programs are amazing, and people... Well, why is that? Because Dave Ramsey helps people understand that money can be your ally.
Yeah.
And a tool to accomplish many, many things, rather than the enemy. And because there's a lack of it, we can't accomplish many things. And that's why I like that program and that idea. And it's amazing what he does. But it's a little bit beyond that. And what he starts doing probably, and you're starting to do, is just change that mindset and that program that wasn't there, that was missing from years and years of formation and experiences.
It's interesting that, as you're saying, changing the mindset, it's like, just how do I relate to money differently now? Whereas I used to be, man, I don't make enough money to pay off all this, or pay this and that. I'm like, whoa, it's not that I don't make, it's that I have been careless with my money. That's just kind of what it is. And so no, I'm working on my relationship and developing a better relationship with money. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Let me tell you an experience I had.
Yes.
I had a lot of training, not a lot of training, but I went to a very intense training on this, and it was NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming.
Okay.
It's just a way for, it's kind of like hypnosis, but you don't need to be subconscious, unconscious. And NLP practitioners out there work with a person to change patterns too, as they're awake and alert and conscious. And this exercise we were doing in a group, they ask us to personify, am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Personify money. And that was an intense, amazing, transforming exercise. And I do that too in office now that I learned it. But when you personify something like that, and it can be powerful as money, that so many people like allow for money to control their lives, their happiness, their moods, everything. You kind of reason with it. And it was an amazing eye-opening experience for me, because I learned so much of my paradigms around money where. And when you personify it, that's when you start thinking of it as a relationship, like the relationship with money. And then that's when you can move forward, because those realizations help you see where those gaps are. Yeah. And how money is a tool. Money can be a weapon, sadly, in some cases, a weapon, a tool, just for peace, for joy, for fulfillment. If somebody's sick, what do people resent so much? Hospital bills, right? And then they do all these shortcuts because they can't offer, or there's not the resources to offer the best treatment for the loved one. So in that case, money...
It's a stressor.
It's a stressor, or it can be the opposite. What would be the opposite of stressor?
Relaxer?
Exactly. Relaxer, release.
I'm sitting here like, I hope I got that right.
Yeah, I remember we played that game last time.
We did.
That's the opposite of this.
Yes.
Yeah, so, yeah, you know, I was expecting for you to say relaxer or something more positive.
Yeah.
But then you said stressor because sadly that's what happens most likely out there.
You can tell how I relate to money.
And that's
subconsciously. See that?
That's why I want to offer you an assessment about it. So it's just fascinating. And it's just the discoveries, the self-awareness. I need to share this experience if this person's is listening to me out there, you know I love you. But anyways, I was doing this assessment.
Yeah.
And it helped them realize so many things, and it stirred up so much stuff from the past that this person literally kind of almost wrapped himself in like, what is it, bullshit?
Curled up into a ball.
Into a ball, because he's like, why are you asking, you know, why are you doing this? I'm like, you sat down for this.
She's like, I just asked a question. That's all I did.
Because it triggered so much.
Yeah.
And it amazed the person on how the relationship was. It was not very functional. So, yeah, it helped. It helped turn it into something better. And life changed from there. It's personally, and then professionally. So it's very cool.
So somebody that wants to get better in touch with their financial side and develop a better relationship with money, they come to you. They take the assessment with you. Mm-hmm. And then you advise them kind of based on that. And you do check-ins? How does that work? Just checkups or what?
Sure. So obligation-free means, hey, if you're curious to know where you're at in this area of your life, come. And then you know, like you
and
did,
if you
came up with your own self-discoveries and you answer your own questions, that inner wisdom and all that, that's all I do. Mm-hmm. And of course, we can go from there if you want to address it and you know, enroll in my programs, you know, to improve in that area, definitely. But if you want just to be aware of what is that like in your life, I would love to help you through this eye-opening assessment. And
for those people that want to reach out to you about that, what's the best way to reach out?
Lori at steadfastforward.com if you want to add that to the link.
I will add that.
Find me on Facebook.
I will add that, yes.
Thank you. So find me on social media, Lori Beard, like facial hair. Lori Beard, I don't have it, but Lori, LORI, BEARD on Facebook. And then you can do loribeard.com. Loribeard.com is my website.
All right. So, before we sign off, any little closing remarks for our listeners out there?
So of course, I went to Career Day where Jacob teaches, and it was just lovely. I loved it. And in one of the classrooms, it was my same presentation in all of the classrooms, but oh my goodness, different interactions in all of them, smart kids. And in one of them, the teacher was very in tune, and the teacher did amazing reinforcement on the things that I was saying. And the teacher was explaining something to the kids, and then I said, adding to what your teacher is saying, I want to remind you that Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you can't, you remember what comes next?
You're right.
You're always right. You're always right. Whether you think you can do this, whether you think you can unblock yourselves from the barriers and inhibiting, you know, memories and patterns and behaviors, you can. And I'm here to help you. And whether you think you can't, well, stay there. You know, you can't. You know, you're right. So I think you've tried the can't long enough. So give yourself a chance. Try something new.
Yeah. It's a whole new world out there, y'all.
Yeah. So, very good. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, thank you so much for being a guest again on the show. It was a pleasure having you on. And to all you listeners out there, thank you for tuning in. And, as always, if you only learn to do one thing, learn to make a difference. Y'all have a good night.
Very good. Bye-bye.